Welcome to Gaia's Calling, where stories ignite your spirit and the earth whispers her secrets. I'm Brad Swift, a write-on-purpose author of eco-fiction and nonfiction, inviting you to become an eco-guardian. Together, let's explore the wonders of our world and take action to protect them. Listen closely. Gaia is calling. And yes, today's call from Gaia is the question: can I be fierce without becoming the enemy? Wrestling with politics in a time of collapse. This is really a start of the week purposeful politics post from the edge of the great turning. Hey friends, yes, it's Brad Swift here. Today's post isn't part of the One Cause series, at least not directly. In other words, it's unlikely to end up in the One Cause book. It's one of those pieces that came from a restless moment in my heart this past weekend. Maybe you've had a few of those yourself lately. I want to talk about something I think many of us may be struggling with. Here's the question: how do we show up politically in this time of unraveling without losing our center, our soul, or even our sanity? Because that's what I've been wrestling with. And I think it's time I brought that wrestling out into the open and into the circle. April 5th, protest and emotional reality. This past Saturday, I was one of about 1,200 folks gathered in my small hometown for a protest against the continued dismantling of climate protections and democratic norms under the Trump administration. Yes, the energy was powerful. The people, well, they were great and they were passionate. The signs, oh man, they were clever. And the chants, quite a few of them were quite strong. But on the inside, I felt torn. Part of me wanted to yell louder to join in with the surge of righteous anger that so many were riding. But another part of me pulled back. It wasn't because I don't care. It's because I care so damn much. And I'm trying to grow into a different consciousness, a regenerative, integral, wholeness-seeking worldview. And yet, there I was, drifting back into the very thing I've spent decades trying to outgrow. That old us versus them energy. The kind that feels like it gives us strength, but really just reinforces the walls we're trying to tear down. From that arose a question. The core question: can I be fierce and still hold? Can I stand fiercely for what's right without making someone else the enemy? Can I oppose the policies that are wrecking the planet, denying people their rights, and stoking hatred without falling into hatred myself? Can I protest from a place of sacred alignment instead of spiritual fragmentation? And what does that even look like? So, turning to the integral lens to take a wider view. This is where the integral perspective that I've studied and tried to live for years now has been such a gift, and yes, indeed, such a challenge. For those unfamiliar, integral theory teaches that people and cultures evolve through different worldviews or collective levels of consciousness. From power-driven red to rule-bound amber, to success-focused, which is the orange, to care and equality-focused, the green, and then, if we're lucky, to teal and turquoise, where we start seeing systems and interdependence and even sacred wholeness. And Trumpism, whether we like it or not, is a mashup of those earlier stages. Red power plays, amber nationalism, and orange greed run amok. But here's the twist. raging against it from a purely green place, that doesn't work either. Because that green mentality can become tribal too, just with better hashtags and more compost. Integral invites us to transcend and include, to honor our outrage, but not let it harden our hearts, to see our opponents not as monsters, but as people caught in a maybe outdated operating system. The tension? My own personal rub? Well, let's be honest. What I just spoke about is damn hard sometimes. Because when I see what's being done to our forest and our animals and to our children's future, to truth itself, well, it feels evil. It looks like a system that deserves to be burned down, not integrated. So how do I act from that place of clear-eyed truth without becoming what I'm opposing? How do I avoid turning righteous indignation into spiritual self-righteousness? Maybe a new political path? My recommitment. Here's what I've come to and what I'm recommitting to right now. Yeah, I will still march when it matters. And I will march with presence and heart-centeredness, not just passion and not anger. I will speak truth to power, and I will do so with fierce love, not reactive anger. And yeah, I will vote, and I will write, and I will organize, and I will do so from a place rooted in my virtues, creativity, love of learning, perspective, honesty, and a deep spiritual trust in life's unfolding. And, yeah, I will invite others into circles of listening to nature, not echo chambers. Because it's time for conversations that stretch us, not just invalidate us. So, if you've been struggling with this too, if you feel torn between the call to resist and the pull to heal, if you felt the weight of the world and wondered how to hold it without breaking, you're not alone. In fact, you are a part of a growing community of people trying to live the future now, trying to midwife a culture that doesn't yet exist, but must if we're to survive and thrive. And so here's my invitation. Let's be regenerative activists, not just reactors. Let's be sacred warriors, not soldiers of ideology. Let's be the bridge, not the battleground. There's still time. There's still plenty of beauty. And there's still a role for each of us to play. So, I'll keep writing, and I'll keep listening, and I'll keep standing for the earth and for each other and for a future that calls us to something better. And I hope you'll walk with me with fierce love and humble strength. This is Brad, signing off for today.